Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.
Hi, I'm Robert Cam, and thanks for joining us on Mission Nonprofit. Each month, we connect with local organizations and agencies that are making a positive impact in our community. We've invited Joseph Anderson from Lacey MakerSpace to talk more about their work. Hi, Joseph. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah, and I'm sorry we have to do this interview socially distanced over webcam. Eventually, we'll have you come in to the studio in person and redo this episode. But for now, this is what we've got. So, Lacey MakerSpace, you guys have lots of different tools for making and producing things. You have, tell me about some of the things you have. I know you have a 3D printer. You have lots of woodworking materials and things like that. What are some of the other things that you have for people to produce things?
Yeah, we have multiple 3D printers, actually. We're really lucky. And a full woodworking shop. But along with that, we have metalworking. We have a couple welders. We have a CNC plasma cutter. That cuts metal like it's butter. It's an awesome tool. We got a laser cutter. If you ever played around with one of those, they're super easy to use and allows you to cut wood, acrylic. You can engrave on metal, glass. They're really versatile tool. And then we have a suite of electronics tools as well, and even sewing stuff. So if you have a material, you can pretty much do anything with it in the makerspace.
Now, you guys are located out at St. Martin's University in Zaverl Hall. Is that
That's right.
That right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
We're tucked away in the corner of campus. So if you're coming to us, just look for the sign. St. Martin's has done a great job with new signage to point people directly to the makerspace.
And you're made possible with the help of the City of Lacey, St. Martin's. You had another, the Thurston EDC.
Economic Development Council. Yeah, those are the three partners who made this happen. And then we're lucky to have a lot of support from community sponsors as well.
So do you teach classes to college students there at SPSCC that maybe come to the Lacey MakerSpace for certain classes? How does that?
Right now, yeah, we have a few options for classes. Well, currently, of course, things are a little bit shut down, but as we reopen, classes are available to anyone. They're open to the public. And so we have offered a number of classes through SPSCC. We've partnered with them to do that. But St. Martin students also have the opportunity to take classes down here, but anyone can take a class. We have classes outside of that on our website as well once we reopen.
Tell us about some, obviously you don't have them right now, but what are some of the classes? Are they like using the 3D printer, using the woodworking tools? Is it all in the above? You teach people how to sew? You teach people how to use electronics and do that too?
Yeah, there's two sides to the classes because for many of these tools, they're computer controlled. So you have to learn the computer side and then you have to learn the hands-on side. So we teach both here at the Makerspace. And one of the more popular classes are some of those that don't require software. Welding is a great example. If you just bought a new welder, you're not quite sure how to use it, and you want to jump into this, sewing with fire as people call it. It's super fun. You can come in for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and get your feet wet and learn the basics of welding. That's a popular one. But then with the 3D printers, that's a little more involved. Actually, using a 3D printer is straightforward if you have the file. It's basically pushing play. But you have to learn the software if you're going to create your own. And so we have an 8-hour intensive class and that's just to get you started, being able to work in 3D modeling software. Super, super valuable because then you can create whatever you want in 3D space. It's awesome.
Oh, that sounds like a blast.
Some of the other more popular classes we have are woodworking classes. A lot of people just don't have these types of tools in their home. We have an industrial cabinet saw here and along with a lot of other stuff. And so they can come in and use all these cool toys and learn the basics of woodworking and even sewing. We have a sewing class that's really popular as well.
Now, seeing that you're on a college campus, do these courses give you like college credit or do you have to be enrolled?
They don't. They're just for your own edification. If you want to learn a skill, this is exactly what it's for. There hasn't been this resource in the community yet, and so we're trying to put all these classes under one roof and help people learn how to create and make things.
Okay, so when you take a welding class, you don't get certified to be a welder. You're just
No,
doing it.
SPSCC already offers amazing certifications, but they are, 6 months, a year, 2 years for a lot of these types of certifications. Our goal is really to get people started being able to create and build things. And so in an hour and a half, you can do that. You don't need to be certified. If you want to do the certification, awesome. SPSCC can help you out. But if you want to just learn the skill, we can help with that.
Okay. Now, right now, you guys are closed down, and you're not having any classes.
No.
Do you have any online class offerings or anything like that while, everybody's under shelter in place?
We haven't shifted to that primarily because there's a wealth of resources out there already. No matter what you want to make, YouTube it. Someone's done an instructional.
Gotcha.
So there hasn't been a demand for that. As we start reopening, we will do hybrid classes where we will work with students one-on-one through Zoom to be able to help them create things. So we'll do a basic introduction to the tool in the space and then can do one-on-one tutorials with students. Because one of the challenges of doing things online is you don't get that feedback. And so with one-on-one interaction through Zoom, you can get the feedback like, hey, you've tried it, something didn't work, and then you can come back and find a solution to your problem.
So that's something that's still in the planning process, that you're going to do those classes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
We haven't started that just because we haven't allowed broad access to the space. This is still a hands-on space, so people still need to be able to come and use the tools. So part of that class structure is there'll be time for them to be able to come and use the tools. There'll be a general instruction. Here's the kind of how-tos for this specific tool in the makerspace. Then they can come try to use the tool, and then that one-on-one feedback with the teacher to see, how we can improve things.
And right now you are doing a very important service for the local community, and that is creating PPE, personal protective equipment. And so tell us about some of the things that you are making to aid in the COVID-19 response.
We're making two things primarily. One is the cloth face masks. The other is the clear face shields. The cloth face masks, that effort, and bear in mind, this is all done by volunteers, because as a makerspace, we usually just have one or two of most of these tools, but there's a wealth of community members who have these tools in their home. So instead of isolating ourselves to one or two tools, we're able to utilize 30, 40, 50 tools in the community to basically mass produce these. So these clear face shields are used by medical professionals to cover up their face so that no aerosols get on them. So they're still wearing a face mask underneath, but they're required to wear these as extra protection whenever they're in a clinical environment. And I'm sure you've seen them around town whenever if anyone's gone to see a doctor or a dentist or any kind of clinic, everyone's wearing these. And with the 3D printers, we can create a headband for them. And then we just basically put a piece of clear plastic on that. And we're partnering with other community members to make this possible. There is a local doctor who has created contacts up in Seattle who takes what we produce and then gets them to Seattle so they're sanitized before they're then shipped back down to us and then taken out to the doctors and nurses who need them. So we're in the pipeline of a lot of people who are contributing to this effort. And the cloth face masks, this is everyone in their house who's got a sewing machine has started making cloth face masks. And we just asked them, hey, there are certain organizations who need these who don't have access to them. Because originally when this first started, no one could get these. Think of the police department. These people still need to be out there helping people. And so we started making masks for the police. The food bank was helping a lot of people, so we made masks for the food bank. And then we were able to partner with a couple of local organizations who were also able to harness the power of volunteers. South Salish Mighty Masks so far has done amazing work and produced upwards over 8,000 masks since the last count, in addition to what we've been able to produce. So it's been an incredible volunteer effort.
Now, are they affiliated with you, this South Salish Mighty Masks? Is it something that you guys created? Or?
It's not. They're a community partner. When this started, we reached out to them when they just started up saying, hey, we're looking at all the different organizations in town who might want to make this a combined effort. Let's get together and pool our resources. And so that's exactly what we did. They had a great organizational structure for these volunteers. They have them in neighborhoods with neighborhood leads, and that way they're able to kind of make things more localized, so there's less contact with as many people. So they've done a great job with that, and then we just pool our resources to make sure we're helping each other out and get the masks to whoever needs them.
Now, are y'all the ones that are getting the masks out to these organizations? Like you said, the police department. Is it the Lacey Police Department? You said the food
Lacey
bank.
Police Department.
Can you think of some of the other ones that you've been helping? And is it you that's organizing that and spearheading where they're going, or somebody helping you? Do you have partners to help you get them out?
Yes, we do have partners. Arbutus Folk School has been taking the lead on this. They've been the primary partner. In addition to South Salish Mighty Masks, I reached out to Stacy Waterman over at Arbutus, and she took a leadership role to make sure, because she has some amazing contacts in the community, and so she's made it a priority to assure that these are getting to the people who need it most. So a lot have been going to Capital Medical Center. I think we've done over 500 to Capital Medical Center, and probably about the same amount to Providence as well, in addition to the face shields. So it's been incredible having these community partners, and really it's not possible without their help.
Well, good. So I'm glad, I'm happy to hear about that effort. Let's get back to Lacey MakerSpace in normal times. And let's talk more about what you normally do. And you have memberships available, you have volunteer opportunities, and you have classes. What does it mean to be a member? What is that like?
Membership allows you access to the space and the tools so that you can come make things. The difference is, if you're taking a class, you just come during class time and you do what the teacher is asking you to do. But if you actually want to come and make an original project, that's where the membership comes in. Oh, hey, I took a class on welding. Now I want to actually, weld this thing for my house or whatever it is. Then you can get a membership and come anytime we're open to be able to do that. Now, during these different times, we've adjusted things slightly. Obviously, we've shut down our normal operating hours, but there are members who are making things that could be deemed important. And so we've allowed them to come in and use the tools appointment-based. So they'll say, hey, I need to come in and use the tool. So we just allow one person at a time to come in, use the tool, make sure everything's sanitized before and after. So a membership has let them do that. When we've shut down classes and shut down all our other programs, the members can still access the space.
And is there a fee for membership?
There is. One of the fortunate things about our situation and our partners with St. Martin's University, the City of Lacey, and the Thurston Economic Development Council is that the membership fees are subsidized.
Excellent.
And so they're really low. A general membership is just $50. That's per month. And then students and veterans get a steep discount off of that. So.
Okay. And then, but you have to take a class before you can use the facility, depending on...
You don't. You just have to demonstrate competence. If you're new to a tool, then we recommend a class, because we won't let you touch a tool unless you demonstrate you know how to do it. So classes do that and let you, learn how to use the tool. But if you already know how to use that, then just show us and you're set.
Okay. Awesome. So people might be able to show that they've taken this class somewhere else, and that might suffice, or do they have to kind of take a test with you?
They basically I'll sit down at the tool with them, and then they'll show me, hey, that they know how to use the tool, that they know all the safety procedures, and if they can do that, then they're good to go. So we do have safety tests that they also have to take, but they're just the basic safety procedures for each tool.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of these tools are pretty dangerous when you think about it. It's not like using a camera. You can't cut your arm off using a video camera. That's what I'm familiar with.
You have to be talented, yeah.
Okay, so volunteering. What kind of things do volunteers do? What kind of volunteers are you looking for?
We are so grateful for our volunteers, and they've really made this place possible. So when we're under normal operations, the volunteers are the ones who staff the facility. Volunteers teach classes. They do mentoring, so that one-on-one help. They mentor people. They keep the tools up and running. You know, these tools are expensive and they get used and abused a lot, and so they need lots of maintenance. And so volunteers are the ones who are doing that. Cleaning the shop. There's a million things that need done, and it's all done by volunteers. So we're so grateful for them.
And I'm sure you'll be putting those volunteers to work disinfecting nowadays, right?
Yes.
So if people want to volunteer, they want to be a member, they want to take classes, they just need to go to your website. And obviously, you know, in the future, it will go to your website, find the classes. But that's LaceyMakerSpace.org.
That's it.
Website. Okay.
You know, and with how rapidly things are opening up, we expect to be able to open up in some capacity soon. So if people are interested, hey, have them shoot me a message and shoot the Makerspace a message as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. That way, as soon as we're ramping up to get to go, we can make sure that they're involved.
Now people can use this 3D printer for making prototypes, it says, which is very exciting. I mean, we may be looking at like a new invention coming out of your facility, right? Is that something you look toward and are excited about? Have you had any? Have we had any major cool inventions come out of the Makerspace?
Yes, to all of your questions. Yes.
Excellent. We want to know about
There's
this.
been lots of great things. Well, and this is the primary reason the space was created. You know, it's wonderful that it gives the community access to these tools, but the motivation that the city and the university and the EDC had to get involved was because this can be an economic driver by helping people bring their inventions to life and then starting businesses with these. That's a huge driver of local economies, and we need that now more than ever. And this is something that happened far more rapidly than we anticipated. We thought it would be some time before we saw makers coming in here and creating new inventions. But as soon as we opened our doors, we had numerous people in here with brilliant ideas. And one of the great things about the Makerspace is the collaborative environment. So a lot of people have a brilliant idea, but they're not quite sure how to bring it to pass. And that is the beauty of what we offer, and the help with the volunteers who can mentor and coach people is that if you have a brilliant idea, then there are people who can show you how to get it done. And so there's been a number of examples, some of which are actually being produced and I can't talk about yet due to IP reasons.
I was wondering that. Maybe they've got to get a patent first and you can't tell us about
some are
them.
patented, so I can't give too many details, but there's a couple of great ones that I can talk about. One member is working on an AI 3D mapping drone. So he's building this all from scratch. He has to learn some programming languages. He has to learn the 3D printing side of things. But what he's doing is he's creating a custom drone with 3D mapping LiDAR software on it that will fly around on its own and map terrain. And what it's doing, it's going to be tracking environmental changes over time. He's very concerned about the environment, as most of us are. And so he wants to see how we are affecting our local ecosystem. And so this drone will basically do that for him. It's going to be amazing technology. So yeah, that's one of the great examples.
So I imagine that might show like the amount of deforestation that might be around town and things like that.
Yeah, how the coastlines are changing. Mm-hmm. Yes, those type of things.
Excellent. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that these tools are being used to help the environment. Sounds great. So, yeah, and now, are there any businesses or local entities that are making really important things out of your facility, or is it just individuals?
Right now, it's primarily individuals. We do have an architectural firm that has started making their 3D models using some of our tools, which has been fascinating to watch how they're doing that. So they can take their renderings that they've done in this 3D space and then you use the 3D printer to make it all out of scratch. Whereas before that you would use, paper essentially or handcraft stuff. Now they can do it with 3D printers and laser cutters, and it's cool to see them do that.
Yeah, and they probably already have the 3D rendering of things, because they probably do
They
that
know
in
the software
AutoCAD.
side of things. Yeah, this just gives them the tool side of things.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's really getting their feet wet, because if this is something they consistently need, the price is low enough for some of these tools like 3D printers. They can go ahead and purchase one. So the great thing about the Makerspace is we're kind of that in-between space, to where if you're not quite sure you want to go down that road, then come to the Makerspace and use the tools and play with things. And then if it works great for your business, then we want you to be successful and get that tool for your business. We're just kind of a facilitator to help you grow.
If people don't really know much about a 3D printer, I don't really, so maybe you can enlighten us on what it uses. Is it plastic that it uses to make, or can you use multiple materials?
So the ones we have in our space are the most approachable ones that use plastic. And they're the easiest to use, easiest to maintain, and they're the ones that most people would buy if they're going to get one for themselves or their business. And so that's what we're training people on. Now, there are 3D printers that do some other amazing things. There's ones that work with metal, ones which is one of the more fascinating technologies out there. But these ones are filament based. So there's spools of plastic, like think of it like plastic thread, that it goes through a wire and into a hot tip. And that hot tip melts the plastic and draws a line, and then keeps doing that over and over to slowly build up your object. So just like your printer head on your ink printer at home draws on your page, this does the same thing. It just does it over and over again with plastic to build up an object.
Now, you have an event space that's available for people to use. What kind of who uses your facility for event space, and what kind of what do you have to offer in that realm for event space?
Well, the great thing is that we do have a very large space that people can use for any kind of fun night if they want to do crafts or making together as a group. We've had a number of student groups come in here and do that. That's been the most popular one for students, but a business could do that too. You could go down to an escape room, or you could come to the Makerspace.
Cool.
As a team building exercise. Your business wants a new big, coffee table in the entrance. Come make it.
Nice.
and have the employees do that and give them some ownership. So there's great opportunity there for different kind of events. You could, in theory, do some kind of birthday party here. We haven't seen much of that, but if you want to come use this space as a group, we'd love to have you.
Great. Yeah, that sounds wonderful. Sounds like a fun event. Maybe we should come out there in
Absolutely.
our organization. So the website again is LaceyMakerSpace.org. You also accept donations from people, and I saw on your website that people may be able to put those donations towards specific goals that they might want to see you guys have an extra this or that. They can bookmark those funds. Is that right?
Absolutely. Currently, we have a campaign going, of course, for the COVID response. But once that danger has passed, then we'll have campaigns for different tools. We have a few things that people have requested that we just need funding for. A fiber laser, for example, or a large format CNC router. So these are things that people can contribute directly towards. And we rely heavily on donations for the space, and we really can't function without them. So we're so grateful for all those who donated, like Port of Olympia, MGR Development. There's a number of other organizations in town that have been really key in making this happen, and we're so grateful for them.
Do you accept donations of tools? And maybe...
Absolutely. That's been a big surprise, is when we opened, people started flooding us with tools. And so at least 50% of the tools in the shop have been donated. And so please, yes, if you have tools you're not using, we would love to share them with the community.
Okay, awesome. Well, I went to your website, and you got this neat little tour, a virtual tour, where people can kind of look at all the rooms and stuff. So I encourage people to go to your website, check that out. That was neat. But before we let you go today, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you'd like to mention before we do?
You did a great job covering everything. We're so grateful for all the people in the community that make this possible. It's a group effort for sure.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Joseph. And keep up with all your good work and making those PPEs and keeping us safe.
Thank you. Stay safe, my friend.
All right. That's all we have for you today. Please visit their website at LaceyMakerSpace.org. You can also find them on Facebook at Lacey MakerSpace. Watch Mission Nonprofit on Channel 77, Sundays at 4:30 p.m., Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Thursdays at 7:30 p.m., Fridays at noon, and Saturdays at 2:30 a.m., 10 a.m., and 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us online at tcmedia.org. See you next time.
Support for Mission Nonprofit is provided by Thurston Talk.